Hey parents, summer adventures await. With UTA's rider's license, your kids ages 6 to 18 get unlimited rides all summer long. Yup, including tracks, front-runner buses, even UTA On Demand. It's the freedom to explore parks, libraries, lagoons, summer jobs, and more. Rider's license is valid June through August, and still just $49. And it's available right now. Get yours today on the Transit app or at rideuta.com.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Thanks so much for listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And if you are in Utah Valley this week, please stop by Orem or Lehigh. Today we have discount Parade Up home tickets on sale. $3 off per ticket, plus you receive a free bag and a free lanyard. So that's always a fun little bonus. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful in Osmond Designs. Lots of amazing things to look at. All of the spring and summer design trends are there on display, and everything is, bring your truck and trailer and load it up and take it home. So really, really fun at Osmond Designs. Please come check it out. Today, I have been so excited because I have one of my friends and colleagues, Jordan Coleman. He is the Vice President of the Utah Division for Genova Construction. Welcome to the show, Jordan.
Heather, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I love having contractors on because there's so much to learn. People that are listening today maybe are thinking or planning of building their dream home, or maybe they're interested in remodeling their home. Jordan, tell me a little bit, and also our KSL friends, about how you became involved in this industry and a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so it's a long, wild road. I'll spare a lot of the time there. I started off as a traveling carnival worker with my family. And
no, really?
Really.
You were a carny?
Yeah, so my dad actually never knew his dad. And we spent a lot of time building mobile food stands and trailers and traveling. And the reality was we had to build a lot of things with a little, resources, and they had to execute and perform at a high level. So that's where I started, problem solving at its finest on the road, and the show must go on. And found my way through a lot of things to BYU Construction Management, and the last 10 years here in Utah building custom homes.
You must have some carny stories.
Oh, do I? I actually have aspirations to write a book, but we'll save that for another time.
Wow. Okay, so recently Jordan and I were asked to be on an expert panel at the Mountain America Credit Union Expo Center,
Yep.
and they had an incredible art show there.
Oh, it was incredible. There were so many different talented, creative people. And it was cool to just see them magnifying their own mediums. There were so many different styles. You think paint or whatnot, but it was really just a little bit of everything.
And it's the first that they've ever had, so that was really cool.
Big deal.
And they had a stage, and they had speakers on the stage, and we sat on the panel, and we were able to answer a lot of questions about luxury.
Yes.
Specifically in Utah, and what luxury means. Jordan, give us a little synopsis.
Oh, man, this is a word I think everybody uses all the time to sell their experience and add validity to the process that they're executing on. I think luxury to a lot of people means high level. It means exclusive. It means status. And I think the reality to the word luxury is that it fulfills your life purposes better than anything else.
For sure. And I feel like luxury doesn't always have to be expensive.
Yeah, that's a point you made on the stage. I love that you drew that conclusion, because proactive planning early on doesn't cost anything extra, but it just makes a much better thought out product experience. You can go on, but the more time you dedicate towards this prototype or this home build or this thing that's never been before, the better it's going to be at fulfilling your life.
For sure. Okay, so what are some of the luxury features that people, specifically in Utah, are loving right now that you're implementing in your new builds?
You've definitely seen this wellness space kind of explode. Everybody wants a spa in their home, right? They want access to a gym that has the unique machines that they use all the time. And the theaters, of course, have been big in Utah. there's a move away from this closed theater concept to more of a party theater open concept with kind of a dinette in the back and a bar top and a lot of fun features there. But the wellness spaces have gone from gyms to gyms with saunas, and now gyms with cold plunges, hot tubs, steam showers, you name it, and they're all incorporated into this house feature, which is things people have never seen before. And I think there's a huge value add to their life, red light therapy. And we as builders are just like, how do we keep up with all this new technology, and how do we make it, how do we execute this with success?
People want this stuff. Once they have the house and it's 6 months later, do they use this stuff?
Oh, that's the...
We're going to find
that's
out.
That's the question.
TBD.
It's an expensive question.
It is an expensive question. So early on, I really try to extract value from clients and try to find out, am I in a position to protect them from themselves? Are their eyes bigger than their stomachs? And are we doing things that are faddish or, niche and not going to add value to their life? Or are we just, adding a lot of value and doing something that's going to be well utilized and kind of a staple moving forward?
Okay, so I'll just speak from personal experience. I do have a gym membership, and there are definitely reasons to go to the gym, and I do like to go to the gym when I can, but there's other times when I'm just tired.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even want to go, and it just seems like another hour. You drive there, and then you have to get on the treadmill and do the weights, and then you have to come home. Sometimes it's just nice to go downstairs, get on the treadmill, do your 30 minutes or 15 minutes of weights or hour or whatever that is, and you're done. There's a lot of value there.
Yeah, I've always kind of lived by this principle with home building that if it's easy to use, they're going to use it. And if it's hard to use or harder, they're going to use it less. So simplifying things and intensifying their usability, maybe more commercial in nature, just means they're bulletproof. They're going to last, they're going to serve a purpose, and they're easy to use.
Well, in Utah, we're known for large homes. And people that move here from out of state are always surprised at how inexpensive our homes are for the size.
True.
Which is incredible.
The Costco model.
The Costco model, exactly. We have a lot of kids, and family is really the focus of most Utah residents here. Basketball gyms, pickleballs, all those things, Jordan.
Community centers, right?
Yeah. Previously, we built a home that had a basketball gym in it, and we thought it was going to be the coolest thing in the world, and it truly was. We had all the neighbors going over, and it is a gathering place. And we moved before I had grandkids, but I envisioned my grandkids in that basketball gym, and even just riding, their bikes and things. And Utah has cold weather and the warm weather, and it's extremes both ways. So having indoor play areas and family-focused and centered areas are really, really important.
Yeah, I think everyone has these grand designs for these family days. And, it rains sometimes at weddings, and it rains sometimes at family barbecues. And when you can have a true community space that you can share with people, and your rain, shine, you thrive, and it's kind of future-proofing you from, whatever it needs to be. There's just so much opportunity for that space to be appreciated and for people and families to just thrive.
Okay, let's talk about food, because that's always a hot topic, right? Those kitchen and great room areas, Jordan, this year's Parade of Homes, those are massive, and they are gathering places for memories.
Yeah, I mean, the dual islands, the larger islands, the open concepts, but I think there's a huge move to like sculleries and kitchen pantries that have a lot of utility in them, but they're also not as visible. And so there's this really clean aesthetic in the upfront kitchen, and then a very practical, useful space in the back kitchen.
Okay, let's talk about master bedrooms. That's the other place that I think people really are spending a lot of money on, and it really is luxurious.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a split here. Some people love the bigger master bathrooms, or bedrooms, where they have the furniture and they have the little sitting room and the conversation spaces. And, there's always the debate of, is there a fireplace or is there not? I think
definitely yes.
Oh, yeah.
I vote yes.
Especially in the winter, right? I think there's times and seasons and moments. I love how designers frame moments, utilizing the architecture of the home or the furniture and really thinking, how is someone going to live in this space? There's also this school of thought that says, maybe we go smaller in these bedrooms and maybe we spend more time out in the community spaces. I personally want to be the boring, builder I do weigh in from time to time, but overall, I think both can be good with enough planning and the right partners.
Oh, for sure. And I think that those bathrooms are feeling more and more like spas and retreats more than ever before. And truly, when I've been in a lot of these homes, I'm thinking it's truly a downgrade to be going on vacation because these homes are so incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you never want to leave, right? If you leave on vacation and the bathroom or whatever setup is not as nice as what you have at home, it's kind of like a letdown.
For sure. Jordan Coleman, he is the VP of Utah of the Genova Construction, which is a National West builder. How do people find you, Jordan?
Yeah, we have an Instagram, Genova Construction. We have a website, Genova Construction and Development. Our headquarters is in Laguna Beach, Laguna Niguel, down in Orange County. We have branches in Hawaii, Utah, California, and out in the desert in Palm Springs.
You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. Today we have Jordan Coleman. He is the VP of Utah Genova Construction Company with us. Stay tuned for more tips and tricks if you are considering building a beautiful new custom home or doing some remodeling. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. We're glad you're listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. And as an interior designer, I get the opportunity to work with lots of builders in the industry. And Jordan Coleman is definitely one of my all-time favorites. Jordan, what I love about you is your hustle. You are driven and you are accessible. You answer your phone, which is, so important when I'm working with my clients and in construction projects. But there's different tiers amongst building homes. If you're looking for a very expensive custom home, that will be a different builder than maybe your first or second home. Let's talk a little bit about that and what advice you have.
Yeah, thank you for the compliment. I noticed that there's a lot of different cars and a lot of different car manufacturers. And I think ultimately people are looking for a different experience when they're driving those cars, when they're buying those cars or washing or caring for those cars. Homes are really similar in that process. If you're looking for a certain price point or if you're looking for a certain priority in the experience, you're going to shop different people because they're managing a different product in their organization and they're equipped to deliver something different. So advice I would give is just, do your homework, talk to as many people as you can and talk to the people that use that builder or are currently using that builder, and they'll tell you exactly the experience that they're getting.
What are the questions you should ask?
A big one is longevity. How long have they been doing this? If you're new to anything, you're not going to be as good as someone who is doing it, longer. I would also say, what have you done in the past? Do you have success building this product or delivering this experience? And if so, what parameters of success? How quickly did you do it? Was it on budget? And again, just going back, do you have some references? Do you have some past clients I can go talk to, sit down with, and just feel out?
I believe that the difference really is in those details that you're mentioning there, Jordan. There are great experiences and stories that lots of people have had building custom homes, and there's also nightmare stories, and we've heard them all, sadly, yes, not only with builders, but also with designers. And Jordan, one thing I really admire about you is that there are always things that go wrong in construction, but I believe that it's just making it right and fixing it.
Yeah, that's a great way to frame it. I think you're really looking for a good problem solver because the home itself has never existed. And so it is truly a prototype in the sense that it's the first time it's coming to life. And so you want someone who's going to, roll with the punches and make it the best that it possibly can on the first go. Experience speaks to that, but also just being a good listener, being able to communicate well with the client. You're going to solve 99% of potential conflict.
What are some pitfalls that some of our listeners can avoid if they are considering purchasing or building a brand new home?
This is going to sound cliche, but I always say price matters, but it can't be your first lead-in, because if you just shop price, you're going to get a budget builder. If you bring up price in the right time and you search quality, you search someone who's doing unique things that you value personally as a potential client, you're gonna prioritize this chain of boxes to check. We do need to check the budget box, but it doesn't need to be the first box that we check.
For sure. So recently, Jordan and I were actually Parade of Home judges together. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, this is just last year, right?
Last year,
yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
And we were in the same truck. And so we had quite a bit of time with some other builders to talk about the pros and cons and all the good and the bad for even last year's parade.
Yeah, I think there's a huge trend of people who are not builders moving into the custom home building space and wanting to placate or play builders just to capitalize on maybe some potential revenue there. And it's a huge danger because one bad contractor hurts all contractors, because we all have that story of someone who took advantage or did something or fell short and didn't make it right.
Are these people who undercut the market, basically?
Yeah, rug pullers, as we call them internally. They come in, they pull the rug out, and they lowball people knowing that they can capitalize, but they're not going to deliver even a portion of that experience.
And that's really, really frustrating for sure. What are you most excited about? What are some of the new building trends coming?
I think there's this huge push to building science and the nerdy stuff, which, really gets me going. But how homes produce like controlled environments, how they thrive, how they're maintained, and ultimately how well they perform in 100-degree swings and seasons. And I think it's a true level of an indicator of luxury that our society actually values those things versus just big boxes that look pretty. And it's cool when you can find a good marriage between it looks incredible, and I've never seen that before, and it moves me like art, and it performs at a really high level.
When you're dealing with luxury homes and the level of expense that people are willing to endure in order to have a home that they've invested in, do they care about how big the heating bill is?
No, this is a good question. I get this often, and I try to thrive in pre-construction, which is everything that comes before we put a shovel in the ground, right? It's before construction, it's pre-construction. And the only way to really evaluate that is to bring professionals in the room and do the calculations on a heated driveway. I had a home that we did a calculation, and it was $10,000 a month to heat the driveway. Now, it doesn't snow year round, but that's an important thing to know long before you commit to a long heated driveway.
I mean, is there technology where you can bring that down to, say, $9,000 to heat the driveway?
Yeah, there is. And unless you do that research, you're not going to know. You can't be a value or a resource. And so there really is no shortcuts. You have to be the guy that knows all the things, or at least knows the best people who are good at what they're doing.
And sometimes you have to be the bearer of bad news.
You have to be the bad guy. I always tell people, I'm going to be the bad guy so that you and your design team can just thrive and have fun.
You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. If you are out and about today, please stop by our Lehigh or Orem locations. We have discount Parade of Homes tickets. It's going to be a hot ticket. They're going fast, and you will receive a free bag and a free lanyard. Today we have Jordan Coleman. He's the VP of the Utah Division of Genova Homes on with us today. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more tips and tricks on if you're thinking of building a home or remodeling a home. You won't want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. Hear updates on the national and local Utah real estate markets. We cover residential and commercial properties. Plus, get inspiring ideas to make your house a home from our sponsor, Osmond Designs. Here's Heather Osmond and Jeff Caplan on KSL News Radio.
Welcome to the KSL Real Estate Show. We're glad you're listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are, and it's beautiful outside, and we have been so excited, specifically at our Orem store. We've been doing some of our own remodeling there. We just restuccoed the front, which is kind of fun, and we just remodeled the bathrooms. We did a full gut and replaced all of the tile and the toilets and the dividers and the mirrors and the vanities and all the things, and it is so much fun. It's an addiction. Even for me, being an interior designer, there's always fun things to update and improve. Same with our homes. Today we have Jordan Coleman. He's the VP of Utah of the Genova Construction, which is a National West builder, on the show with us today. Jordan, you do development and construction, correct?
Yeah. No, as you're talking about all the remodels in your store and stuff, it gets me excited. I think showing someone the ability to create something from nothing is just such a fulfilling feature of my life, and it's a huge part of how I live my life.
It's awesome. Okay, recently Jordan and I were on an expert panel at the Mountain America Credit Union Expo Center there in Sandy.
Yep.
And we were talking about luxury homes and what that means. And that does not always mean expensive. It doesn't have to be the biggest home in the most luxurious neighborhood. Sometimes luxury means something more.
Yeah, I love the point that you made on the stage at that art show. You were talking about everybody should be entitled to luxury. And I think that a lot of times I'm not a luxurious person and I disqualify myself. But I think planning ahead and, doing the research and finding the right partners, that equates to a luxurious experience. And anybody and everybody should be entitled to that.
You spoke earlier at length about some of these luxurious features in homes, from heated driveways to wellness centers with cold plunges and basketball courts. There are people listening who have $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 homes. If they're going to create a new home, does some of the advice that you're giving this morning carry over to them?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, Jeff. I like how you framed that. I think at the end of the day, people want a life that reflects their variables and the things that they can afford and their resources. The only way to accommodate that is to custom tailor the experience to them. And so there's a number of builders who have design centers, if you will. That's a value engineered way to go in and see what resonates or speaks to you as far as finishes or options or amenities. And if you can plan enough time, you can go out and see what adds value to your specific home in a semi-custom approach that will be custom tailored.
When you say adds value, is that how I'd translate that to when I say, "Aw"?
Exactly. Yeah. I think if it moves you, it adds value. And if you wake up every day in the same bed, which I do, you're going to see the same thing every day. Use the bathroom in the same spot, use the towel hangers and the towel rods. And if stuff is falling apart or it's not where you reach out of the shower to grab your towel and it's somewhere else,
Right.
Those are small things that can add a lot of value to your life. On a larger scale, you phase it. You can add accessory ADUs, accessory dwelling units, in the form of a wellness center, a cold plunge or a sauna or all in one just outside your door.
That's fascinating. By the way, I said, "Aw." Can you spell that?
Spelling contest now.
I cannot. I'm just a carpenter, so.
One thing I'd like to add is it really is teamwork. I have seen some of the most talented, most artistic individuals in the entire state of Utah working in some of these homes. And oftentimes
Agreed.
They're not the most expensive homes. Just because you have a very expensive home oftentimes doesn't mean that you have taste.
Yeah.
I've seen starter homes.
Well said, by the way.
That are decked out and are very luxurious. And it's just because of creativity. Maybe it's just adding a little pencil mold to the ceiling in a rectangle. Maybe it's a paint color. Maybe it's a fun wallpaper. There are some really, really fun, affordable, budget-friendly ways that you can make your home be a reflection of who you are. Because at the end of the day, we all need to love where we live.
Yeah, 100%. And you brought up creativity. I think the phrase creativity loves constraints comes to me, right? I think if anything's an option, clearly you're going to blow the budget and you may or may not appreciate things. You might have rooms you don't go into or appreciate. I think if you have some constraints and you can understand what those are early on, you can define parameters of inbounds and outbounds. And then creative people like yourself, Heather, can just thrive within those atmospheres. This is a budget outline. These are allowances. Let's spend this much on pencil molding. Let's spend this much on 2- and 3-tone paint. Let's do some stain grade. Let's do some floating beams. Let's do some faux concepts to save cost, or let's do some timbers. There's a lot of ways that this plays. But how do you know if it's inbounds or out unless you do that research up front?
For sure. And I think there are definitely places that you should splurge and other places that you can save. And having an expert on your team or a team of experts on your team to help you know where those places are can save you thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars.
Okay, I'll bite. I challenge both of you. Where can I save on building a house?
I'll go first. So I think everybody kind of understands that there's these luxury appliance brands. I won't name them. I'm friends with a lot of them. But there's also, a step below or two below that are, to most people not going to make a difference in value for their life. And you can save a lot of money just in appliance packages that are going to look aesthetically the same, or they're going to be paneled. And there's a huge value add in dollars and cents that you can put somewhere else in your home.
Okay, so here we go. Location is not somewhere that I would try to save. I think finding a property in the right subdivision will make all the difference in the world. And I'm speaking from personal experience because I did that. We found a great lot. We built a killer home. And if we would have spent another $10,000 or $40,000 more on a different lot in a different area, we would have made a lot more money with the same amount of work and expense. A place that I think you can save money, depending on the area for your home, is, at Osmond Designs. I'm a little biased, but I own 2 furniture stores, and there are designer brands that have incredible furniture. It's quality furniture. It goes discontinued. It's closeout. Oftentimes I bring furniture in containers. And a lot of the showrooms that we go to when we go to Furniture Market, I'll buy the entire showroom, and we're able to buy those showrooms at 50% off of wholesale.
Yeah, there's a tremendous value there.
Tremendous value. And maybe it's just nightstands for the guest room. Mm-hmm. Maybe you splurge on the kitchen table and the family room and those things. But some of those other rooms that no one is ever going to see, you can have very, very nice things in those areas, and no one will know if you spent $2,000 on that nightstand or $500. And it can still be all the best brands in the country. It's just being smart about where you invest your money.
This is all great advice.
It's super fun. It's an addiction, right?
Yeah, it's kind of a lifestyle. You just kind of get sucked in, and then it's a black hole, and you just never end.
It's a problem. Okay, let's talk a little bit about smart homes, because I feel like that's another place where people can really get out of control, or you can save some money and be smart about where you spend your money when it comes to electronics and technology.
Yeah, I think everyone gets excited with new tech, right? We see these waves every year of new things that fit in your pocket or go on your wall in your house. I think at the end of the day, does it add value to your life? And is it simple to use, and is a robust system that's going to grow and kind of be future-proof? Anytime I tell people smart home, let's hardwire, get wires in the wall. I know there's Wi-Fi, and I know there's all these things, but the only sure way to get it there for power shades or, intercom systems or any of the above, insert here, that's just a bulletproof way to simplify and intensify.
Do you have any example of the wildest, most tricked out house that you've ever done when it comes to smart home features?
Yeah, that's a great question. So a very large smart home technology company that's headquartered here in Utah, I was able to build one of the executives' homes. And you can imagine that anything that is both on the market and not yet released, he wanted in his home. Oh. And I have never seen so much wire in a residential project in my life. But they had lighting control panels that without touching any light switches, you walk into a room, depending on the time of the day, it will illuminate certain lights at a certain hue and a certain color so that you can feel like you're outside it all the time.
Wait, didn't I have that with the clapper in 1986?
It's slightly different, but yeah, essentially the same principle there.
But there's some pretty cool things where you can actually be at your garage and you can turn off all the lights in your entire home. There's some really practical, great technology things that people can incorporate.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is licensing. They had a hard time navigating, interface with garage door openers or certain lighting systems or shade companies, and everyone has their own licenses. A few companies have really figured that out, and so they have these permissions to where things that are already installed in your home or you're used to using, household names, if you will, they integrate and they talk, and then it's easy for your app to communicate. If your app's not communicating, that's one of the most frustrating things. I think we can all relate to that. But you want a simple but robust system. It's future proofed. You know, as you grow and expand, it can expand with you, and you're not constantly calling the guy to come maintain the system. It's like you need your own IT team for your house, and that's not really acceptable.
I think that's the problem with my television. There's just some buttons I just don't even know what to do with. Just the on and off, and the volume, and a few of those things.
This is the eternal problem with televisions. You need 16 clickers, and I imagine that in these homes you've managed to lick those problems.
Yeah, you don't want to see any wires, and you don't want to have to search for the remote all the time. So if you can just simplify that system and be robust, some of the smart home technology is kind of the brain, as I put it, and it controls everything. If you have one central place or a hub, it will run everything rather smoothly. And if you can just train that individual or that family on that system, they'll get used to it, and then they're ruined for life because they'll never be able to switch. But
it's so true. Okay, even Memorial Day weekend, there were washer and dryers on sale, and my understanding is that it notifies your phone when it's done. Are you kidding me? This is so cool.
That is a unique feature. You have to you don't want to panic like it's an Amber Alert, but you need to train yourself on the different alerts and just understand that it's just the laundry.
Do they make one that folds the wash?
They're working on that.
I'm buying it if they do. That's a must.
There is vacuum control systems that send laundry from rooms back to the laundry room and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, they're still working on the folding.
Today we have Jordan Coleman, VP of the Utah Division of Genova Construction on. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
We're back with the KSL Real Estate Show, sponsored by Osmond Designs on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back to the KSL Real Estate Show. We're glad you're listening. I'm Jeff Caplan. Heather Osmond is here from Osmond Designs. Her stores are in Lehigh and Orem.
Yes, they are. If you are out and about today, please stop by our stores. You are going to find some beautiful things, and you might have to take a candle home, or maybe some parade tickets, a free bag, a free lanyard. It's that time of year. It's almost a Super Bowl for us in the design world and in the construction world, and we're super excited about this year's show. There are over 40 homes, and I say this every year, but I just can't believe that it's better than last year. It just continues to grow and improve, and it's just amazing. Today we have Jordan Coleman. He is a veteran with the Parade of Homes. Jordan's been involved for years and years and years. He's the VP of the Utah Division of Genova Construction. Jordan, this has been so fun to have you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm actually glad. I actually don't have a parade home this year, and it's the first time in 7 years I've been able to see my family, but I'm watching from afar and just cheering everybody on.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, as you go through the parade, sometimes you feel like there's just a need for leveling up, Jordan. Don't you think that's a problem?
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of getting carried away. There's so many people who are getting stretched thinner and thinner and thinner, and you see some of these homes that are almost there, and you just wish they would land. And I think a little bit of restraint and discipline across design pools and builder pools, right? It might go a long way. I think letting the people who have earned that spot might be helpful. I think everybody should aspire to be leveling up and doing better, but maybe bowing out is the best thing you can do.
And I think there definitely is a trend for people just simplifying their lives. It's not always about having the biggest home in the neighborhood anymore. There's a lot more focus and emphasis on traveling and
That's a great point.
Enjoying. And sometimes less is more, and having a smaller home, but having it decked out with the features that you want and adding a little more creativity can actually be the perfect fit for you.
Yes, you were speaking and I heard quality over quantity. And I think that if you can have a really well finished out space that serves your life better, it's not necessarily going to cost more or less. It's just going to be less to maintain, and it's going to get a lot more fulfillment within your life.
For sure. Okay, so we need to give a shout out to Central Bank. They are the sponsor of our KSL Real Estate Show, and we all need money to do all of the remodeling and to build the custom dream home that we aspire to have. Central Bank has locations all across the Wasatch Front. They've been in business for over 130 years. And I wouldn't be where I am today without Central Bank believing in me and my Osmond Designs business. And I will forever be grateful for that. They are very involved in our community. I see their ads, their logo all over billboards and the soccer fields and the baseball diamonds and all the things. And I love how locally focused Central Bank is. So thank you, Central Bank. They do construction loans. They do long-term financing. They do car loans. They have a kids savings plan, all the things. I believe I even saw SBA. They're number one in SBA, if I remember correctly. And I think that's really, really cool. They invest in small businesses. Jordan, okay, any last minute parting words? What advice do you have for our KSL listeners that are interested in construction, either remodeling or building a new home?
I would just say put the time in before you sign contracts. Look at all the options available and look at what is going to add value to your life. Don't overspend. Bring in the right partners. If you have a good interior designer, a good builder, good architecture team, you can really solve any potential problem or conflict before it even happens. And it's just going to bring so much more fulfillment and joy to your life.
Jordan, how do people find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. I have a podcast, The Custom Build Curtain, and I have a website, Genova Construction and Development, if you Google that. It's been a pleasure to be on.
It's so fun to have you. I love working with you. It's always a pleasure. You're always very informative. You're in the industry. You're in the foxhole.
We're in the trenches.
We're in the trenches doing this day to day. And Jordan and I adamantly agree that it really takes a team to make the dream work. And it's
100%.
not just the contractor. It's not just the interior designer. It's the plumber. It's the electrician. It's the flooring guy. It's the painter. It's all of us. And creating that team and putting the time in to make sure that you are hiring the right people will make all the difference in having a successful project. You're listening to the KSL Real Estate Show today. We had Jordan Coleman. He's the VP of Utah Genova Construction. I'm Heather Osmond, owner of Osmond Designs Furniture and Interior Design Stores. And, of course, the king of radio, Jeff Caplan, on the show. Thank you for being here today. We'll be back next week. Stay tuned.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
Ever walk past a place for rent and wish you could just take a peek inside? Maybe even explore the layout. Envision the natural light streaming through the windows. Or plan where your vinyl record collection would go. At Apartments.com, you can. With tools like their 3D virtual tours, you can see the exact unit you could be living in. Really envision yourself in your new home with Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Need a boost? Sometimes all it takes is tapping into your inner cool. Icebreakers Gum helps you unleash the confidence within. Each chew releases a rush of icy flavor powered by cooling flavor crystals, sending a wave of refreshment to reinvigorate all your senses. Icebreakers convenient pack fits everywhere, from car cup holders to backpack pockets, so you can find your cool wherever you go. Grab Icebreakers Gum online or at a store near you.
Grainger knows when you're a procurement manager for an office park, you're not managing one building, you're managing all of them. And to stay ahead, you need to see through walls and around corners. Lights about to fail, filters ready to clog, HVAC on its last leg. If you wait until something breaks, you're already behind. Count on Grainger for quality products, easy reordering, and 24/7 support. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.